Hey, we're here with Lady Antebellum. Thanks so much for taking the time, guys. Really appreciate it. The number one record on the planet, I think, right now. Does this stuff ever get old?
Oh, it feels great. I think for us, this is our third record, and to have such a great response this early, we were a little nervous going into this record. Coming off the Need You Now album, I think we were a little, just hesitant, and hopefully the fans would like what we did, and to have this response the first week is that affirmation that we were looking for. So it feels great. It never gets old. We love the feeling of any opportunity and anything that comes along. We have a blast doing this.
What's it like? The anticipation must be overwhelming for you guys to sit and make a record and take the time to make a record, and then to sit and wait and watch the marketing plan come together and watch everything come together. It's like probably like having a baby, I would imagine, and then to finally see that people accept this in such a huge way. Is that crazy?
Well, I mean, yeah, you spend making the music is the easy part. I mean, we definitely don't. We go in there with with a really creative mindset, and it's not until kind of you have to pick those first singles and get out there and make those kind of decisions that it gets a little stressful. But we've been really fortunate. Our label, Capitol Records, has let us kind of be who we are, it's they definitely put out a busy promo schedule for us, but it's exciting to have new music, and again, to see the response this positive so early in the first single, Just a Kiss, go number one. It kind of took a lot of the pressure off, but making the music is the easy part. It's all the other stuff and making sure everybody's accepts it well. That's always gets stressful.
Let's talk about making the music. I read that you guys brought like 50 songs plus other songs that other people had written for you into the studio. How do you whittle that down? Is that a big process for the three of you? Like how does that all happen?
Well, we went in with about 50 songs, most of them songs that we've written, a handful of them outside songs, and out of the ones that we wrote, about half of them were good. And so, we kind of get into a meeting with our label and our management and kind of dwindle those down, and then we go into what we call pre-production, which will go into a rehearsal space with our co-producer, with the musicians who play on our albums, and we will work through that 22 songs that we whittle it down to. And then through that process, we weed a couple more of them out,
right.
And then we went in and we ended up cutting 15, right? 14. 14. And then we cut 2, and
Right.
12 is what made the album.
I would imagine, though, that some of those records may see the light of day on iTunes or bonus tracks. I mean, the label must always be begging you guys for extra stuff, right?
Yeah. We try to do some different versions of some of these songs too. Over the past couple of years, we've done acoustic versions of Need You Now, and
Right.
we've been working on a stripped version of Just a Kiss and We Own the Night. So, in addition to some other songs, we like to kind of have a different way to play some of them too.
What do you guys listen to when you're not listening to or not making your own music? I mean, that for me would be the intriguing part, because you do live in a kind of like a bubble of your own music, and you're playing your music all the time. But what do you listen to when you kick back and relax and you're not playing your own music?
And I think it's a list that never stops. I mean, there's between all three of us. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we grew up on. I would say currently, I love Adele, the Kings of Leon record, a lot of rock and a lot of country too. Keith Urban we're big fans of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean everything. I mean we're so influenced by by all kinds of music, and we like a lot of popular music. I mean we do. I mean I think there's a reason songs are on the radio is because although I will say a lot of the stuff now is getting so like techno driven, it's hard for me to stomach some of that, but there's a lot of new bands coming out that we're really into, bands like Augustana and Parachute that people may have not have heard of that need to check them out, but we listen to everything.
I would imagine too that it's not, you're not set to make a country record. You're just set to make a record, and whatever the influence is and whatever you guys decide to do, that's kind of what it comes out. I mean, when you're selling as many records as you sell, it's a little more mass appeal than just making a country record. Is that something that you guys are cognizant of when you're writing these songs?
I mean, I think we started out writing songs just out of the pure joy and of the process and of that, of creating music. I mean, that's how the three of us connected at first before we even knew we were going to be a band. And so, we obviously all are we very much have a country music background, but we also have grown up listening to a lot of other things. So I think that infiltrates into everything we do, everything we write, what we're drawn to wanting to record if it's an outside song. So, I mean, we definitely have our core country fans that are how we got to where we are now, that we will never turn our back on. But at the same time, with songs like I Run to You and Need You Now being the first songs of ours that truly, truly connected, there's a lot of trust built in our relationship with our fans to be, a little bit more left of center. And so, we just honestly try to get into the studio. We write these songs and get into the studio and try to produce them and record them the best way the song is going to be, showcased and accentuated. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we're country artists, that's how we got our start. But at the same time, we're to a point now where we can kind of take some risks.
And I would imagine, and just knowing what I know about the industry nowadays, is that it doesn't really matter where you fit. People's iPods are filled with, well, Kings of Leon and Adele are two polar opposite artists, right? And people have both records on their iPod and probably have your record on their iPod as well. I mean, it is really all over the place at this point, right?
Yeah, I think, a lot of people listen to a lot of different stuff, and I grew up that way, and I think, some of the genre lines, I think, for us get a little frustrating because we don't want people not to listen to us because of a certain label. Hopefully good music just wins in the end. I mean, I think if you look at anybody's iPod or anybody's collection, I mean, it'll probably span everything from 50 years ago to current, and every type of music, and that's what we love. We love good songs, good melodies, good lyrics, and we just are all about the song.
How hard is it to write a good song? I mean, you guys have you obviously whittled down 50 songs to 14 and then 12, but you guys have a formula. I mean, let's be honest about it. You guys write great songs that connect with an audience. Is that hard for you guys to do? Is that something that you're thinking about when you're writing, or is it just something that comes naturally?
I mean, I think we're very melody driven. We always kind of have been with our songwriting. We start with that first, and then find a line or something that kind of comes out, and then try to create a great story behind it. But I mean, I don't know. We just write, and for me, it's you just have to write a ton, and it sounds weird, but it is almost a numbers game. I mean, I feel like you can write 50 songs and probably only 10 of them are really anything special when you get down to it and you start playing them for people. And it's always the songs that surprise me, that people, react so strongly to, like Need You Now, such a simply written song, but, sometimes those are the best ones and people can create their own story in there. So we try to kind of stay out of our way most of the time, because when we do is when we kind of come up with the most creative songs.
Do you hear Hillary's voice when you're writing the songs?
You know what? I think so. I mean, we kind of all are in there.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll be starting a melody idea, and maybe I'll come up with a melody idea, but I immediately know it's something that Hillary's voice is going to sound more tender on, or whatever it may be. But it kind of just shows itself. We kind of get in there and just, again, it's just we try not to force it. I mean, I think they are. Many people said you may feel like there's some kind of formula, to it, but I think it's more so just the formula that most songwriters, when you study songwriting, you've been listening to music all your life, you kind of know where to go, and so I think we just kind of do that, subconsciously.
Are you always writing? Is it do you always have a pad of paper when you're on the bus and you're always writing down little notes? Yeah. You have a computer and you're.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think a lot of times songwriting is an escape for us in the midst of craziness, like a schedule, like a promotion schedule, promoting a new record is pretty intense. And then we've been out, went home for a few days, but we were out for like 3.5 weeks before that. And we were on the bus doing shows, and then promo, and, all kind of intertwined. And we started a couple of ideas, and I think that's just our escape. And so we're always, somehow finding time to either turn on the GarageBand on our laptops or the voice recorder on our phones and jot down an idea or two. A lot of our songs start from chord progressions or piano, on a guitar or piano ideas, and some lines too that'll just come to us. But for the most part, we start with the music.
Own the Night's been out for 2 weeks. You're busy with obviously all kinds of press schedule, and I would assume that a big tour is coming up.
Yeah, we're starting in the States on our Own the Night headlining tour. And this is kind of our first go at doing some arenas, and we're kind of building the stage and going through a lot of production stuff, which is really fun for us to get to do that. But we're definitely planning to continue this tour through next year, and come through Canada is absolutely going to happen. So we're still figuring out when to do that, but early next year we're going to kind of get back in and really start pushing this Own the Night tour more internationally.
So you got 2 years probably of craziness ahead of you.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Yeah.
We're always moving, but we love it. I mean, especially getting to play shows. I mean, we love being on that stage, and we love playing these songs we write. So
Is that more rewarding for you, playing the shows, or actually releasing this record so that people can hear it right off the hop?
Different things, I mean, I think, the new record only heightens our show now that we have 3, albums worth of material. But they're just a different, side of the brain, I feels like. I mean, I don't know, at least just a different expression of our art. And, and I think after being on the road for a while, you can't wait to get back in the studio. And after being in the studio for a while, you can't wait to get back out on the road.
Right.
So, but it goes hand in hand for the most part.
Well, I got to say it's another great record for you guys, and really for me the thing is the songwriting and the playing is I'm not a huge country listener, but I do appreciate good songs and well played songs. So it doesn't matter for me if it's a country record or a rock record or whatever. It's a good record. So thanks for that, and I know your fans thank you as well. So on behalf of all of the Canadian fans, thanks a lot.
We love being up here, man. They're great fans up here. So thank you.
Great. Well, cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Continued success.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.